I'm going to show you some of the stuff that comes with some of our packages. We have a couple different assortments for different packages. We have the 10-ounce tube of Christie's Red Hot. This right here will bond the two pieces, your cleat and your rafter tail, together. Depending on your application, which will determine when you buy the product, we have stainless steel Tapcons, screws, different types of screws. We have a 2-inch bugle head right here that you'll use to install your cleat with. And we also have our number 7 trim heads. Next up, which is very important, the T-nails for the T-nailer. They're 2-inch. We supply these with the T-nailer if you're doing a stucco or a concrete installation. And last but not least, we have 18-gauge finish nails. This is the application for a carpenter or anybody that has a compressor and an 18-gauge nail gun. This will replace the trim head screws. This is a lot faster. You'll get your rafter tail included with a cleat. Your cleat comes installed somewhat. We just kind of tack nail it in there for shipping reasons.
Basically, we determine where the outside rafter tails go. We know this one's going to go in the middle of this trim piece, so we know the center of it, it's going to be 3 inches away on this one, okay? And the other end, we determined that the last rafter tail is going to go right before that metal piece on the roof. So what we did was we measured from the center of that rafter tail to the center of this rafter tail. You know, we came up with, I believe, 366 inches, right? So then you got to figure out what you want your spacing to be. In this case, we want to be close to 30 inches. So I started dividing until I got close to 30. I believe it was, I think I divided 366 by 13, I believe, or by 12, and I came up with 30.5 inches. So what I did then, I started marking center to center every 30.5 inches. And I did it all the way to the end to make sure that everything's going to work out right before I put up any of these cleats. After that, we determined the width of the cleat. In this case, it's 2.5 inches. So we're gonna mark one side of the cleat, which is 1.25 inches away from the center. So I marked all of these centers. I marked them all 1.25 inches to the left, all of them. So it's gonna show me the left side of the cleat. Okay. The next step would be making sure that your lines are straight and everything matches up properly. You don't want things to look crooked. So we used the framing square. I placed it on both edges. I even placed it on the fascia. I tried to do 2 or 3 different things with the framing square to make sure that my line is straight. So what I do after that, I start measuring the back ends compared to the front ends. Back ends compared to the front ends. All the way down. Once I know that my lines are almost perfectly straight, then I'm ready to install my inserts. Most of these rafter tails are a 1/2 inch thick, okay? They usually go up against the inside of the fascia. So you want to make sure you have enough room to slide that rafter tail in there. So you want to keep your cleat roughly 1 inch away from the inside of the fascia. So you would measure from the back of the wall to the inside of the fascia, 22.5 for example. I'll tell my cut man to cut the cleat 1 inch less at 21.5. Okay, once I have all the cleats ready, we're going to show you, we're going to start liquid nailing them, or PL, and we're going to start installing them. I've got my marks on the left side of the cleat. Okay, so I'm going to make sure this is right on that line. Look at the front. Okay, I'm going to finish nailing this. And I want to make sure the back is straight, so you don't want to just eye it, you know. You want to go ahead and double check with your torpedo, make sure that the back is perfectly straight before you nail it to the wall. And there's your cleat.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, put it right next to our cleat, and we're going to see what kind of gaps we got. So we got an 1/8 inch gap on this. So when we're taking our number, we tell our guy to cut an 1/8 inch wider on the bottom, which in this case over 5 inches usually equates to about a 1 degree angle. So we're going to tell him to cut a 1 degree angle on this. We're going to take our number from the freeze board to the tip of our fascia here, and that's the number we're going to give him. And then he'll cut the angle also, and he'll give us a nice tight clean cut. All right, so we just had our guys cut this with the 1/8 angle on the back. For this particular application with stucco, when stucco meets stucco, the stucco guys always usually have a round edge back in this corner. So what we're having to do is actually notch out the back a little bit here, and we'll touch it up with caulk at the end. But for install, we just pop this bad boy in, dry fit it first. Always want to dry fit, make sure our piece fits, because once you put glue on, it's never coming off. This thing's here forever. So we look perfect, everything looks great. Let's pop this off, we'll get some glue on it, and I'll show you how to apply nails and be done with this thing.
Basically, we're using vinyl adhesive, Christie's. Just make sure you put it towards the top edge, because if you put it too far on the inside, it's not really gonna stick to the insert. You know what I mean?
Now, depending on the length of your rafter tail, you're gonna use different quantities of nails. For this one, I'm gonna use 2 on the top and 1 on the back side. Just make sure you're firmly pressing up when you shoot these nails. That's done.